the lands on which we gather are covered under the Williams Treaties and rest within the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Anishinaabe Nation, which also includes Algonquin, Chippewa, Ottawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi. It is through the treaty process that we are able to live, learn, teach, and prosper in this region. And now, let's meet the St. Clair Saints. Today's substitutes. Number 4, Jane Foreman. Number 6, Ashley Ray Brill. Number 7, Brooke Cameron. Number 14, Ada Gumera. Number 22, Ireland Tui. And number 44, Ashton Fong. St. Clair's coaching staff, assistant coach Mark Ouellette. Assistant coach Alex Wiseman. Assistant coach Wayne Dawson. Athletic therapist Brandon. And head coach Doug Wiseman. And now, here's the starting lineup for St. Clair. Leading off, shortstop, number 28, Shay Murphy. Batting second, best center fielder, number 18, Judy Leffler. Batting third, the catcher, number 26, Ashley Marchand. Batting fourth, the right fielder, number 12, Cameron Coons. Batting fifth, the starting pitcher, number 2, Dana Warren. Batting sixth, the third baseman, number 17, Reese Grondin. Batting seventh, the DP, number 8, Kirsten Kitford. Batting eighth, the first baseman, number 9, Zanaya Jackson. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 1, Chloe Cole. The flex player in the field is number 24, Molly Casillas. And now, let's meet the Humber Hawks. Today's substitutes. Number 1, Allison McLaughlin. Number 4, Michaela Brown. Number 6, Victoria Lopez. Number 10, Julia Dubuano. Number 13, Jessica Laron. Number 14, Melissa Honfeld. Number 17, Mutia Annabelle Benedicto. Number 18, Angelina Bomberry. And number 19, Shade Hansen. Humber's coaching staff, assistant coach Brandon Costa. Assistant coach Maddie Pasma. Assistant coach Megan Murphy. Therapist Celia Palabella. Student equipment manager Bree Clark. And head coach Dwayne Bowl. And now, here's the starting lineup for Humber. Leading off, the center fielder, number 3, Shay Humber. Batting second, the shortstop, number 7, Reese Valachi. Batting third, the right fielder, number 15, Riley Dufries. Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 2, Amelia Russo. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 12, Malia Farrow. Batting sixth, the DP, number 9, Michaela Tuck. 16, River Johnston. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 11, Marley Clair. And batting ninth, the catcher, number 5, Claudia Hansen. The starting pitcher and flex player is number 8, Zoe Google. At this time, would you please rise if you are able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the OCAA bronze medal match featuring the Humber Hawks facing off against the St. Clair Saints once again. I'm Nico Lucca, and with me today is John Townsman.
Thank you, Nico. It's great to be here for another day of action-packed OCAA softball. We have a couple great teams here today competing in the bronze medal match. The second and third teams, respectively, in the standings between Humber and St. Clair. Had some great softball action yesterday where we saw St. Clair battle against the Lords, but just come up a little bit short, losing 5-1. However, that St. Clair lineup has a ton of power in it that Humber's going to need to be careful over. And as we've seen, Humber this season has been very, very, very productive. As a team, their batting average is just a hair under 300. And a slugging percentage of 414. So it's a lot of power on both sides and a lot of excellent pitching on both sides.
Yep, and right now we're just going to show you the update of the bracket. Since the Durham Lords beat St. Clair last night, they automatically go to the gold medal game, and whoever wins this game will face up against them, and that'll be at 2:30 p.m. today, so we hope to see you then. And the only reason gold medal 2 game is if necessary is if Durham loses that first game. Durham needs to lose twice to not win the championship today.
It's going to be a very tall task as Durham is entering into that final undefeated for a chance to go undefeated for a whole season. To be a very impressive accomplishment for the Lords.
And today, St. Clair is going to be in the white, and Humber is going to be in the dark navy blue. Starting pitcher for the Humber Hawks is once going to be Zoe Skugel, who played yesterday against the Conestoga Condors and won pretty convincingly, where they beat them 13-3, and that's biggest reason why they're here right now.
And we saw Zoe Skugall actually pitching against the Lords here just a few weeks ago. Had a very, very impressive outing there, but so far this season has an ERA of a 3.889. Has started 8 games, won 7. Has 2 losses on her name this season, but 45 innings pitched, a good sample size. Looking like a very solid pitcher here, as well as with 45 strikeouts.
And we'll see what she can do here as we're underway here at Babcock Field. And it's going to be Shaylin Murphy leading off for the St. Clair Saints. The first pitch she sees is a ball.
Yeah, Shaylin Murphy is a fantastic player, batting just under 400. But do not let her get on the bases, as she has 15 stolen bases this season.
And when it's grounded out to shortstop, they're going to quickly throw the first. Just going to be in time for the first out of the ball game. And next up is going to be Julie LaFleur. Just a reminder, these two teams actually played yesterday, and St. Clair and Humber both just absolute amazing pitching for both teams, and only resulted in a 3-0 win for the St. Clair Saints. Shade Hansen had 8 strikeouts in 6 1 innings. So, absolutely amazing, dominant performance. And Daniel Juarez, who's in the lineup today for the Saints, had a complete game shutout for the St. Clair Saints yesterday against Humber.
Yeah, they used their ace yesterday in Shade Hansen, who has 118 strikeouts on the season. Just phenomenal numbers from her. But they're going to need to perform big without her pitching-wise today. Maybe she'll out at the bullpen later on, as that's popped up foul. But I wonder if Humber do get through, would Shade be pitching in the final?
It's very possible. I think that's why they're not playing her right now, as if they do win this game, when they go advance to face off against Durham in the finals, they would probably, I would think they would start Shade Hansen first. And there's a swing and miss there for the strikeout. First strikeout of the game for Skugall. And 2 pretty quick outs here in the first inning.
That's a great start to the inning there for Humber. As I was saying, with Shailene Murphy's speed with 15 stolen bases, Julie LaFleur also has 13 stolen bases. So to get those 2 speedy players out early is a good start for Humber.
And here up to bat is going to be Ashley Marchand, who did a lot of damage in the game that they've played against yesterday. Drove in some of the runs in their 3-0 close win. And it's mostly the same lineup today for the St. Clair Saints when they last played against the Hawks. There's a big swing and miss there. And now you think about the Humber lineup is even more closer, as they only have 1 new player in the lineup today. Skugall with a 2-1 count. See the second baseman backing up quite a lot back there.
Fairly deep infield. However, the outfield is appearing very, very narrow. If I'm the batter, I'm trying to pull a pitch here to try and get into the left field.
That's grounded out to second, right there for the out. And pretty perfect placement there by the second baseman to get Ashley Marchand out. And that is the end of the top of the first inning.
That was a good defensive first inning there for Humber. Didn't really give St. Clair much to swing at. Was able to get 3 straight ground balls, or excuse me, 2 ground balls and a strikeout. Good performance for Humber in the first inning, but let's see if they can come back here in the second and maybe put a couple of runs up on the board.
And just show you the head-to-head, the last time these two teams played, which, as you see there yesterday, St. Clair beat Humber 3-0, and it's been Humber most of the way, because the previous 5 times they faced, Humber won 4 of them. And most pretty close games, I would say, but still, Humber has had their number on paper this year. But they're going to have to try and muster some runs off and try to figure out this pitcher, Dana Juarez, who is on the mound once again, as she was the complete game pitcher yesterday against Humber, who was also in the lineup as well. And another thing just to show you the head-to-head with these two teams. You see their 2 records there, both very close in the standings. Humber was second and St. Clair was third. St. Clair is really offensive team, over 200 runs in the season. However, Humber only has 51 runs against in the regular season, and both have the exact same last 10 games, and there's going to be a switch here. So there were a few defensive substitutions there for St. Clair.
I believe Kristen Kiefer is going to be going to first base.
Still talking.
Number 9, Zanya Jackson, I believe, is now going to be the defensive designated player, excuse me. And I couldn't quite get the first one.
No, I heard something about the fifth spot, which is where Daniel Juarez is in the lineup today. So it was also hard to hear with these Humber fans here and really loud, as there's quite a few of them turned up here tonight. This morning, excuse me.
It is somewhat local for them, probably just about an hour drive. Actually, on a Saturday morning, it's probably like, what, 40 minutes, 45?
Something like that.
Moving on to Humber, the center fielder, number 3, Shea Gilbert.
And I'm not sure if they have reading week too, but here at Durham College, it is reading week now. There's a big swing and miss there for the first strike, as up to bat is going to be Shea Hilbert to start off for the Humber Hawks. That one's going to be popped up behind for foul ball.
Interesting that Shea's going to be batting leadoff here, as only coming into this with a 218 average. However, with that average, he has been able to do a little bit of damage. Has 10 RBIs and 17 walks. So I wonder if they're trying to just get someone on first base and then progress forward, because Hilbert also has 13 stolen bases.
There's a strikeout there, called strike 3. Daniel Juarez with the first strikeout for her this afternoon. And next up is going to be Reese Valashi. She had a really big game yesterday against the Conestoga Condors. And Humber definitely needs to bring that offense into this game today, as they had absolutely no answer for this pitcher. And they have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, Reese is actually leading the team in RBIs with 14, batting 333 coming into this at bat, as that's going to be a little bit outside, 1-1. We swung on and missed there, 1-2. And as you mentioned, Juarez had a complete game shutout yesterday against Humber as well. So let's see if Humber might have learned one or two things about her pitching style to perhaps take advantage of.
There's the 1-2, and that's going to be swung on, popped up towards the St. Clair dugout, but it's going to go way far out for a foul ball. Today, Humber is going to be representing as the home team. So they're going to be batting here in the bottom innings. And Juarez winding up. And just a little bit outside to make it an even count, 2-2. Now it swung on a high fly ball into center field. Center fielder is over it, makes the catch for the second out. And St. Clair having a pretty good start pitching-wise, as they get two fairly quick outs here. And now they're going to go into the heart of the lineup with Riley DeVries coming up to bat here.
Yeah, DeVries batting .397, highest batting average on the team. But I'm getting the feeling this is going to be a good pitching duel here today.
Just like yesterday. And today, big swing and miss there. And today is about the same temperature as yesterday. A little bit more sunnier, but nowhere near as windy, so you might not see a lot of balls being influenced out there in the outfield, just like yesterday.
I was gonna say, it's feeling a little hot today.
Yeah.
Like I'm just here in a t-shirt and jeans, and I'm starting to feel a little hot.
I had to pull my long sleeve shirt down. Here comes the 1-2 pitch with 2 outs here. Warriors looking to get out of this one fairly quickly. Get her offense right back on the plate. Big swing and miss there for the strikeout.
That's just what you want to see as a St. Clair fan. 1-2-3 inning.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Juarez. And now they're going to have to go back on the mound and, now Humber's going to have to go back on the mound and defense and try to get these guys out. Because as you saw in the last game, you want to get out in front in this matchup right here. Because once you're out in front, it's really hard for the other team to come back in with these 2 elite pitching teams. As these are two of the best teams in the world. In Canada, and Durham College is rated number 1, especially since they won their first ever Nationals championship in Ottawa. So right now, the remaining teams in the playoffs, Durham, Humber, and St. Clair, are all the top 3 teams in Canada. And the OCAA. And we are back here. It's going to be number 12, Cameron Coombs, number 4-hole hitter. And she's leading off here as her team in the top of the first inning were 1-2-3'd by Zoe Skugel. And here comes the pitch. Gonna be outside. Make it a quick 2-2 count here. And Skugel on the year, she's pitched 45 innings in 10 appearances, and she started 8 games. She started her 9th game yesterday, and pulled up, thought that was going to be hit into right field, caught there by the right fielder for the first out. So it's Skugel in 45 innings. She's got a 3.89 ERA with 45 strikeouts and only 17 walks. That is for the regular season, however. And yesterday, the game she pitched in against Conestoga, she allowed 3 runs in 5 innings.
And up to bat is going to be number 2, Dana Juarez,
the pitcher. Humber looking for revenge after yesterday's game. Here's the pitch. Just a little bit outside. Gonna be ball 2 on that one. Once again, the shortstop at second baseman going way out here, almost in the outfield. And that's gonna be grounded out towards the third baseman, but gonna go out for a foul ball. It's talking to go to about 20 degrees today. Tomorrow's going to be 22, but we won't have any softball tomorrow. But definitely getting warmer if you like warm October weather.
I will say Humber's defense positioning here is really interesting. The third baseman, Amelia Russo, right now has a fielding percentage of .811, which isn't particularly high. However, their left fielder is
way out.
Way close to the center of the park there. So normally for that type of defensive positioning, you'd almost be backing Oh, you have a Gold Glover there at third base. Now maybe the numbers might be a little skewed. However, with
Well,
8-11, it's not terribly high.
She's into left center field. She's not in left field anymore.
Yeah.
There's a big swing and miss there for strike 3. Warris strikes out. Now there are 2 outs here in the top of the second.
And that's also been the outfield positioning the whole game as well. It's not just for the one batter.
She moves a little bit more to the left, and center fielder goes to dead center now. And the right fielder also moves a little bit to the left as she's sort of in the same position where the left fielder is. Up to bat is going to be Reese Grandin. And in the regular season, 72 at-bats. She's got a .333 average with 4 home runs and 25 RBIs. And she leads the team in home runs and RBIs. And batting in the 6th spot today. See if she can do some damage here and try to get something started, maybe some 2-out magic. On deck is Kristen Kipfer. Big swing and miss there for strike 3. School strikes another one out, and another 1-2-3 inning here. In the top of the second now. We'll quickly go to the bottom of the second, and we have not seen our first base runner yet of the game. And maybe we'll see here in the bottom of the second.
It's feeling like it's going to be a pitcher's duel today. Both offenses might still be waking up here on Saturday around noon, but so far defensively though it's been a very, very solid performance. Only one line out there from believe that would have been Cameron Coombs, the line out towards right field. Well hit ball, however, hit directly to the right fielder. But other than that, it's just been strikeouts and groundouts, and a pop fly over to center fielder, from what I remember.
Yes. So the same fielders are going to come back out here. You can see St. Clair earlier today before we went live. They were practicing a lot on defensive plays and situations where yesterday St. Clair in both games there's an extremely sloppy defense all around. And I think they had like maybe 3 errors in 1 inning yesterday against
in the Lords game.
Durham Lords, which allowed a couple runs to come across. So we'll see if their defense is sharper tonight. As up to bat's going to be Amelia Russo, batting number 4th in this game. And on the year, Amelia Russo's got 66 at-bats, 303 average, with 12 RBIs and no home runs. However, she does have 5 doubles and a triple, so she knows how to get some extra base hits. She's only struck out 8 times in 66 at-bats in the regular season. As she has an 0-2 count right here. Warris trying to get another strikeout. Here's the pitch, and too low. That was going to hit the dirt. Trying to get Russo fishing for that one, but
yeah, so I bet harder to get Russo to go for the swing.
The ball actually went right in front of her on the dirt, and really slow swing and miss there for strike 3. Not much plate discipline on that one. And Warris has another strikeout. And a fairly quick first out here as we're moving along in this lineup, and now Amelia Faro.
Got some great fan support here from St. Clair as well. Got a couple of vuvuzelas out.
It's pretty even right now in the stands on both sides. 2 really big passionate fan bases in schools and colleges, so we'll see who becomes victorious in this one, who advances to the final at 2:30. That one's popped up, and that's going to go out for a foul.
Good pitch upstairs there to catch Malia Ferro swinging.
Big swing and miss there for strike 3 Juarez with another strikeout. And it looks like it's been going for the same trend just like the last game, as Humber still can't figure her out.
I will say, considering how she pitched a complete game shutout, probably would have went through the order 2, maybe 3 times that game. I'm wondering how long of a leash she has today, considering that the typical adage in baseball is as soon as a pitcher goes through the order 2 times, that 3rd time you take him out. So I wonder how much of a leash she's going to have today. However, today she's just motoring through the lineup. It's rolled in there, though, for a ball. 2-0.
It's definitely possible you might see that trend today. However, Humber has also been looking good so far. They don't have Shane Hansen on the mound. However, Humber's pitching team is just as good as it's always been this regular season. And that's going to go too high. Now it's a 3-0 count here. And we could possibly see our first base runner of the game. And here comes the pitch. In there for a strike right down the middle. There's Michaela Tuck up the bat, and I believe she was taken all the way on that one. You think Juarez will be aggressive on this pitch?
I'm thinking so.
And swing and miss there. They actually got a little bit of the tip of the bat. But now, plot thickens here, 3-2 count.
Yeah, no runners on, 2 out, full counts. I'm thinking this is going to be, she's gonna give us something to dare to hit.
Here comes the 3-2, and outside for ball 4. Humber gets the first base runner of the game, and Michaela Tuck with a full count walk. Really good at bat there. And Humber finally has something going here on the first base runner of the game. As next going to be River Johnson, who leads the team in home runs. And that's swung on. That's going to be popped up just behind the St. Clair dugout. You that Humber dugout getting fairly loud. They're trying to.
Looks like she didn't get the proper swing she really wanted on that one. It kind of shorted her arms a little bit. Couldn't really get the bail of the bat around.
See if she adjusts here on this, and gonna hold there. First ball of the at bat.
Nope, it was in there for a strike.
Sorry?
It was in there for a strike.
No, it's the ball.
Oh, excuse me, yeah.
Here comes the 1-1 that's popped up just in front of the shortstop behind the pitcher, and there's the final out of the inning here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 inning as finally Humber gets on base with a full count walk, and we're gonna go into the bottom of the is it the top of the third or bottom of the second?
Yeah, top of the third.
Okay. A little hard.
Scoreboard was confusing me as well, yeah.
You know, that scoreboard here said top of the third, and then the one in Babcock Field said bottom of the second.
Yeah, just a late update on the scoreboard here.
Once again, Zoe Skugo is going to be out, as she has not allowed anyone to get on base yet. So she's been perfect through 2.
With the bottom of the line coming up now with Kristen Kiefer and then Zanaya Jackson, and then Chloe Cole up next.
They're all due up. Chloe Cole actually came in to yesterday's game against Conestoga against Durham in a defensive substitution and only had one at bat. It was when the Lords were in a little bit of trouble in the last inning where St. Clair got two people in scoring position actually. In a 5-1 lead. And they struck out. And that one's going to be 2 outside for ball 1. And on the regular season, Crescent Caper played 23 games and 68 at bats and just a touch under 300 at 294. And she's pretty high up there in RBIs with 18 and 2 home runs. And she has 10 walks in there. That's going to be high pop up into shallow right field and caught for the first out by the second baseman. And that's kind of the contact we've seen so far in the start of the game here for St. Clair. It's been pretty light, soft contact. Either pop-ups, there's been only one fly out in center field today. And here's Zanaya Jackson, and I'm sure Humber remembers her as she was the first run to come across the score, and she started the whole run support for St. Clair where they were victorious. You look see how close the third baseman is on this one. Maybe expecting a bunt or a light ground out towards her. Here comes the 1-1.
Because the outfield as well is incredibly shallow. All three of them are in line with that Lord's logo.
That one's just chipped behind.
Backs up the third baseman though a little bit with the bunt now presumably off the table.
And on the year, Zanaya Jackson, the regular season, she only had 35 at-bats in 19 games, 257 batting average and 9 RBIs. Big swing and miss there, strike 3.
That was not the swing you want to see there. Count is 1-2. That ball was off the plate the entire way. You can't be chasing a ball like that, especially with the third baseman still not playing as shallow as she was at the start of the at-bat, but still playing relatively shallow.
As opportunity squandered there, and we'll definitely be looking for that swing to come back to normal. And going to be up here is the number 9 hitter Chloe Cole, wearing number 1. And Cole is going to look to try and avoid getting 1-2-3 for the third straight inning here. As so far, St. Clair hasn't had an answer. On the year, Chloe Cole has only had 8 at-bats in 17 games. 250 average, 1 RBI, and 2 walks. And 4 strikeouts in the regular season. And here's a very important play right here. 2-2 with 2 outs. Swung on, that's going to be grounded to shortstop. Thrown to first. And it is in time for the out. Just a matter of inches right there. And the inning is over. As we'll go to the bottom of the third fairly quickly. Off another 1-2-3. Top of the third right there.
That was a great throw from the shortstop to get the runner out at first. A lot of power on that throw. It was a tight play, but good job defensively by Humber.
It was really close play there, as it was just a matter of inches that Chloe Cole was called out on that play. Once again, no surprise. Daniel Warriors Ojeda coming out. Pitch once again. She was also the player of the game in the last game they faced off against Humber. And she did not play off against Durham, as I'm sure they were just trying to keep her for this game today, as St. Clair only has 3 pitchers on their roster right now, which they used 2 yesterday. And they're going to need every one of them for today, especially if they win this game. Face off against a juggernaut in the Durham Lords, who have not lost a single game this year. St. Clair would have to beat them twice if they advance to win the championship and defend their title, as they beat the Durham Lords in the finals last year. So we're going to defend their title here. As we're back here in the bottom of the 3rd, and it's going to be Marley Greer, number 8-hole hitter, leading off for the Hawks. Here's a pitch, big swing and miss there. Strike 1.
Yeah, it looked like Greer really wanted to get a good contact on that one. Really went for that. Just couldn't get the timing down.
There's a 1-1. And better timing on that one, but popped back for a foul ball. John, one thing, the sun is beaming today, and I see some fans that have umbrella over their heads to cover themselves from the sun. So, the sun is definitely beaming on us once again, just like yesterday.
I mean, it is one of those funny days in October here in Ontario where I have my winter jacket here in case I'll need it later on, but I'm also thinking, should I have bought sunscreen for when the sun's up? Because it is, as you say, beaming down so far.
And it was beaming the whole day yesterday until it got to about the last game of the day, about 5:30, when the sun just started setting down. And there's not a single cloud in sight here. And it's going to be like that all day. At beautiful Babcock Field, here comes the 2-2 pitch. And not enough for the umpire. It took a second for him to decide, but now going to be a 3-2 count here. And trying to not allow Humber to get on base here. And in there for called strike 3.
That was a great pitch there by Juarez. Perfect, right in the edge of the strike zone. Gets the out.
Perfect pitch there, perfect location. Right on, say, borderline in the corner of that one. And St. Clair has their first out, bottom of the 3rd. Now it's going to be the number 9-hole hitter, Claudia Hansen, the sister of the pitcher of the year, Shade Hansen. And here comes the 0-1 count. Here comes the really important 0-2 here. Don't allow the number 9-hole hitter and have to face the top of the order with someone on base. And too low for ball 1.
It looked like Wallace just missed her spot there, but it's going to come back now. 2-2 count.
Swung on and just popped foul. Humber trying to get their player hyped up, give her some adrenaline with this one. Big pitch here. And outside for ball 3 as she's come back into this count. Down 0-2.
Good play discipline to lay off that pitch. It was just a little bit too low below the knees, but still a great discipline to hold off.
Big swing and miss there for strike 3. St. Clair definitely needed that one.
Yeah, just got tied up. Pitch came inside, and with how this game is progressing, with little offense going on, the bats are still kind of needing to wake up. you can imagine that it's a growing frustration with the players to start swinging, to start putting that extra little bit in each and every swing. But it takes great plate discipline, like they showed last at bat, to hold off, wait for your pitch.
And we'll see if that continues here. Here's the pitch, and running on that one. We're back at the top of the order for the Humber Hawks. It's going to be Shea Hilbert. And if she gets on base, on deck right now is Reese Valachi. Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, that's going to be get past the second baseman for a base hit. Humber gets their first base hit of the game. And a very important one indeed, as we're here in the bottom of the third. And finally some answers beginning to show for Humber, as maybe slowly starting to figure out this pitcher.
Yeah, it was a perfectly placed hit there, right in between the second baseman and first baseman. But I do wonder if Hilpert's going to be running here. She does lead the team with stolen bases, and if it's been a very slow offensive game so far, 2 outs so far in the inning, getting a runner in scoring position might not be that bad of an idea.
Especially with Reese Valachi up the plate right now. And one thing about Hilbert, she has also not been caught stolen once this year. So perfect so far. And here comes the pitch, and popped up by the catcher, and she's...
Looks like it was a hit by pitch.
Or that too, I believe. I thought it popped out the catcher's glove, but hit by pitch, so a little bit of trouble here, as now there's running in scoring position for the number 3 hole batter for Humber. And that's Riley Debris. And big moment here. Here comes the first pitch of the at-bat. Big swing and miss there.
Yeah, just swung right through it. It was a big swing, but Waz has been phenomenal so far, 3 innings in.
You don't want to, and I'm sure she's trying to avoid any pitches far outside the zone. That's going to hit right in front of the pitcher, grounded out, thrown to second for the final out of the inning. So Humber is stranded on the bases. They do not get a run here. Great pitching and defense performance by the St. Clair Saints.
Good, confident infield defense as well. There was not a second in her mind that she didn't realize. Got the ball, runner at second, tag, done, end of the inning. Let's go to bat.
And that's just what happening now. We're quickly into the top of the 4th inning, as we're just about halfway through the game. So still no offensive answers from either team. St. Clair has yet to reach on base yet.
What are so far your keys to victory for let's look at it from a St. Clair perspective, the batting team coming up?
The batting team, well, first off, we got to try and slowly figure out this pitcher, and just need to be more patient with those swings that you've seen. You've seen quite a few swings and misses, both pretty bad timing, you'd say. So you got to be more play disciplined in this scenario, and try not to get in the head that if you lose this game that you're just out of the playoffs entirely. It's not what you can think of right now. You got to calm yourself in all scenarios right now, and just got to try and grind it out and slowly figure out this pitcher, because eventually mistakes will be made. Possibly a pitch where she did not want it to be, and you just got to wait for this one. And it's going to be Shaylin Murphy. What would you say?
I think it's well said. You gotta wait for your pitch. Because it's a tournament format. This team has been tested time and time again. They've even had success in the recent past as well as a team. It's just gonna be a matter of waiting for your pitch, not forcing anything, but at the same time you can't just sit back and wait for the perfect pitch the whole time. You gotta make some stuff happen and make your own luck. But with top of the order now coming up, it's a good time to start that process if you're St. Clair.
And we'll see what they can do here. Shaylin Murphy leading off. Back at the top of the order for St. Clair, as Zoe Skugel with a 3-0 count right here. She went through the entire lineup, not allowing anyone to get reach on base. Excuse me, not allowing anyone to reach on base yet. So, see if that continues here. As Humber definitely needs her to be on her best, and that's a called strike one.
I'm fine with her holding off on that pitch because that was a borderline one.
It was.
So I'm perfectly fine with her not going for that, letting one go by. Say one count.
Here it comes right here. Swung on, that's going to be fouled to the right. Nice catch there by the player on deck, Judy LaFleur. Here's an important 3-0 pitch right here. And swung on, but that's going to be tipped just behind, and she's going to stay alive for this one. On the year, Shayla Murphy in 87 at-bats. She only has 10 walks. However, that is tied with a couple other players that lead the team. And not going to get it on that one. That's a called strike three. And first out of the inning for Humber, and they get an important one out.
There's a great job working back in the count by Zoe Skubal there. It was down 3-0, manages to come back, get the strikeout. Good pitching display from her.
As they keep the stolen base leader off the bag, as Shayla Murphy has 15. However, Julie LaFleur up next. She has 13, which is second. Was only caught once in the regular season. And this is most definitely St. Clair's most dangerous hitter. She is almost a 500 average at 483. 20 RBIs and 5 extra base hits. That's going to be flown out into left field, and it's going to get down for a base hit. LaFleur is going to go for 2 on this one and is in there with a stand-up double. And the St. Clair Saints get their first hit of the ball game here in the top of the 4th inning. And it looks like Humber is just going to come out and maybe talk to Skugel for a second. And I think they might actually take her out of this game. They're taking her out of the game. I didn't see that one coming, but Zoe Skugel has left the game, and Shade Hansen is going to come in to play. And judging by the look of this one, everyone clapping, this could be possibly Zoe Skugel's final game.
It was very surprising to have her be taken out this early, but nevertheless, they are bringing in their ace in Shade Hansen.
And Reach Valachi is second-year student, and judging off by the players applauding for her and the coach, this could possibly be her final game as she sees herself in a Humber uniform, unless she comes back, of course. But nonetheless, Shade Hansen will come in here in relief in the top of the 4th inning. And the pitcher of the year, as to say she had a dominant year is a really big understatement. And like you said earlier in the game, she has 118 strikeouts and 74 in 1 innings pitched. So just absolute masterclass here, and only a 104 ERA. And however, she was the losing pitcher in the game yesterday against St. Clair. However, will not blame her at all for that loss, of course, as Humber just could not figure out that offense. And now it's going to be Ashley Marchand.
By my calculations, she's struck out more players that she's faced than any other outcome. More than half of the batters she goes up against, she strikes out. That is a phenomenal statistic.
You can see why she was the player of the year, of course. Here comes the 2-0 pitch by Hansen, and that gets behind the catcher, and the runner is going to advance to third, now 90 feet away from taking the lead here in the 4th inning. Once again, is Ashley Marchand charged with this situation right here. However, John, wouldn't you just walk them in this point and she does right there, as even though she gets on base, that does set up the double play possibility that would get them out of this inning.
It's a very difficult situation now with the lead-taking run right now just 90 feet away. However, again, it's one of the best pitchers in the league at the mound. So if you're Humber, you have to feel relatively confident that should be able to get away with this.
And it's going to be Cameron Coombs lead at the plate right here, number 4 hole hitter. Look at the position right here. Look at the infield positioning right here. Shortstop and second baseman way out while first baseman come in, and the runner's going to go to second, but no throw will be made. Maybe possibly trying to replicate what Durham did in the last game, where they would steal second, and then when they throw to second, the runner from third would go home and score.
Yeah, potentially.
There's the 1-1. That's going to be swung on. That's going to go just behind for a foul ball on the year. Cameron Coombs in 70 at-bats regular season. She had 429 average, 20 RBIs, and 1 home run. We're going to add on to that right here. That swung on. That's going to be a high fly ball into shallow right field. Caught there. They're going to send the runner home, and nope, she will pull back.
That was a high ball. I wonder if they were regretting not sending the runner home there. It would have been very close to the play, but
it was a really fast throw coming in. So we'll never know. And next is going to be the pitcher, Daniel Juarez. See if she can give herself a lead going into the bottom of the 4th, where she'll probably be pitching once again. And catcher is able to hold that one from going back. And Hansen's only 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning right here. That swung on. That's going to be grounded out to the short third baseman. Thrown to first in time for the out. And a great job there by relief with Shade Hansen in the Humber defense, not allowing any runs to come and score for the St. Clair Saints. And they'll head into the bottom of the 4th scoreless.
Hansen really got out of a pickle there. That was the most dangerous chance St. Clair has had in this match so far. But runners at the corners, by not giving up a single run, keeping this game squared at 0. Fantastic job by Humber's defense there.
And it looks like the umpire and Humber coach are just having a conversation about something. Humber's coach didn't look too happy there for a second. I'm not sure what it is about. St. Clair's already out, already practicing their defense, as you can see, is definitely not trying to replicate any sort of errors as they did yesterday. Way too many errors, and definitely were a reason they lost against the Lords and are here today. And leading off for the Humber Hawks is going to be number 2, Emilia Russo, number 4 hole batter. As this game remains scoreless with really good relief pitching performance by Shade Hansen and the defense of Humber to keep St. Clair off the board here.
This game, it feels like it's going to come down to 1 or 2 swings at the bat, seeing who's going to make the difference here for their team to take them to the gold medal match against the Lords.
And shows bunt there and gets it down, but goes right back into the catcher's glove.
I like the idea. Had a pretty hairy last inning. So starting things off, first pitch, trying to go down for a bunt. Catch St. Clair off guard. I like the strat there by Russo, as that's going to get down for a single, possibly a double. That's going to be double at least.
That one had an awkward bounce off the fence there, and that allows Russo to go in second with the leadoff double. It hit the fence out there towards the corner, and it was just a weird bounce. And really good start there for the Humber Hawks as Amelia Russo gets a leadoff double to start the bottom of the fourth.
That was a fantastic hit there by Russo. Got good contact, sent it right down the line. And I find, especially on this turf, if you just get it down the foul pole line, weird stuff happens. The outfielders bobble the ball as that's going to be sent right back. Cars are safe.
Good thing no one parked right there. Went right into one of the parking lot.
It had good power, went really high. It would have been a broken windshield for sure.
Even though it's called softball, the ball is definitely not soft. Next up is going to be Amelia Farrow. She swings in that one, and that's going to go right center field and caught by the center fielder. Runner will hold at second. And it was probably a wise decision there as center fielder was pretty close towards the infield.
Definitely. When it came off the bat, it looked like it had a little bit more power than that, but I was wondering if it kind of got held up in the air a little bit because there's a slight breeze going on now, so I wonder if that played any effect in it.
Michaela Tuck is going to go up to bat right here, batting number 6 in this one. Yesterday she was batting number 8 for both of the games. And just outside there for ball 2. And just too high for that one. Now it is a 3-0 count here. And going to be out there and not able to get a strike call on that at-bat. And there's another really good walk there. That does, however, set up the double play possibility. That would indeed get St. Clair out of the inning, as there's now 1 out here. We're going to see it right here, though. We got River Johnson up to the plate. Here's the first pitch. And swing on and miss on that one for the first pitch of the at-bat. There comes the 0-1. Not wasting any time here. That one wasn't really close. Gonna be 1-1. Humber possibly trying to starting to slowly figure out the pitcher here, as this is just about the amount of base runners that were on the entire game, and that's going to be propped up, possibly playable, and won't be. Just going to go into the fans and hit one of the seats.
It's a lady here who's very, very lucky. She got up, just had her head down, was hoping it wasn't going to hit her, and it nailed the spot directly where she was sitting. It didn't hit her, though. Let me make that clear. She moved out of the way.
Good. Whenever you hear watch out for softballs, that can go anywhere. Now when swung on, that's going to get to right field and down for a base hit. They're going to send the runner home. They're going to send 2 of the runners home. As River Johnson is in the second. Throw to home is not going to be in time. Humber takes a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Great piece of hitting material there. Gets it all the way to the warning track.
I mean, that has been what we've been waiting for Humber to finally break through against Juarez, who's completely shut them out yesterday. This is probably the 4th or 5th time around the order seeing her. They finally might have figured her out now, but still no action at the St. Clair bullpen. However, there is a meeting at the mound here, probably just to calm some nerves.
River Johnson with a 2 RBI double to give her team the lead and finally score against the St. Clair Saints, where it took them more than 10 innings to finally score here against the St. Clair Saints. And probably Mount Viz is just to calm the pitcher Juarez down, as possibly maybe losing her command now. Definitely not out of this game, though. 2-0 is nowhere near a big lead. But now they're just going to try to focus on limiting the damage, not allowing any more runs to score. As next up to bat is for Humber is going to be number 11, Marley Greer. As this is an important out right here that Juarez needs immediately. Here's the pitch. Going to be too low for ball one to start off this at bat. Humber faithful and the dugout getting really loud here. There's the pitch. And has to move out of the way of that one. But the umpire calls it a strike regardless. 1-1. And Juarez not wasting any time. Too low for ball two. An important at bat right here. 2-1 coming up. And in there for a strike. And the block thickens here is now even 2-2 count. Starting to get a little bit more windy here now. You could possibly see the ball get influenced in the air. And that one's going to be swung on in high, shallow right field and caught by the right fielder. And Johnson is going to remain at second. It's possible the ball was held back a little bit in the outfield there. However, that was not a really hard hit ball.
It was not, but especially with the wind starting to pick up now, I definitely agree that that probably had an effect with the flight and the trajectory of the ball.
And here comes Claudia Hansen. And that's going to be a high pop up into the left, just behind the Humber dugout. St. Clair looking to get out of this as soon as possible to try and come back into this game. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung on a miss on that one. And Juarez only needs one more pitch to get out of this. So here comes the 0-2 pitch right here. Fans getting loud here. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, but the catcher is not able to hold on to that one. Hansen will get another chance here. Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, that's going to be popped up right in front of this third baseman and caught there for the final out of the inning. And St. Clair finally gets out of it, but does not get out unscathed as they now down by 2-0 here after 4 innings. And here we are in the top of the 5th inning. And now Humber's going to come back out here. It'll probably be Shade Hansen pitching once again.
It'd be nice for her, though. Has a bit of a lead to protect now. A little bit of a breathing room, up 2-0.
And just going to show you the bracket once again. Whoever wins this game will advance to the gold medal game and win the bronze medal. So whoever wins this game will go on to the final game. 2:30 p.m. later today against the Durham Lords, and I believe whoever loses this game, whether it's St. Clair or Humber, will finish the season with a bronze medal on that one. So this is do or die for both teams here in this game, as only teams remaining in this tournament now are Durham, Humber, and St. Clair. And once again, Shade Hansen out on the mound. No surprise on that one. It's possible you might see her try to close out this game. What are your thoughts on that Humber offense in that bottom of the 4th inning on that one?
I think it's just been a bit of a ticking time bomb for both teams, because St. Clair definitely has the ability to put runs up on the board. As we pointed out yesterday during the broadcast for St. Clair against Durham, they've scored above 200 runs in 25 games, averaging 8 runs a game. So they have the ability to put up points, as that's going to be a quick round out there to the third. So yeah, we've just been waiting for Humber to catch fire, and it seems that they've done that the last inning. I'm wondering though if there's going to be a pitching change for St. Clair the next inning, or if they're going to be putting their faith in Juarez to carry things out for the time being.
It's possible that they might just try to put their faith in her, as they only have 2 other pitchers, and you definitely want to save those for the game later today against Durham, especially if you do win the first game.
They're going to have to make it there first.
Yeah. Even though Humber has the lead, Juarez has definitely kept St. Clair in the game, so now they just got to try to figure out the offense pitching here. That's going to be a high fly ball into left field and caught by the outfielder for the second out.
Emphasis on high. That was skied a mile up.
Almost just about in front of the warning track on that one.
Exactly. It's a good job by the left fielder to track that down.
And so Grandin grounds out. Kipper has a high fly out into left field, and now it's going to be Zanaya Jackson. Shows bunt, but pulls back. Catcher loses that ball. You do see someone in the Humber bullpen warming up right now. Might possibly be for a later inning. I don't imagine she comes in this one. And that's in there for a strike 1. Here comes the 1-1. Shows bunt, but pulls back in time. One thing I'm noticing over in that Humber bullpen, you got the whole Durham Lords team watching right now, and that's going to be grounded out to shortstop. Ball by the shortstop, thrown to first is going to be in time. Called by the umpire. Zanai Jackson thinks he was safe on that one. But that is the end of the top of the 5th inning, and really close call there. Really hard to tell what that was, and I think the third base coach for St. Clair might even go talk to the umpires about that one. But that was a really close play on that one, and another 1-2-3 inning for the Humber Hawks.
Yeah, as you said, it was a close play. I think that they got the call right. But once again, this Humber defense showcases their might as just a fantastic defensive team.
So as I was saying there, you notice in the Humber bullpen, you got a lot of Durham Lords players just watching right now.
Probably eyeing their competition for both teams later on, coming up at 2:30, the gold medal match.
And it's going to be Daniel Juarez once again out on the mound. I'm not really surprised on that one. And here we are in the bottom of the 5th. As Humber definitely trying to get some more insurance runs to try and take this hope out of the St. Clair Saints players, as it's going to be the top of the order here for the Humber Hawks. Shea Hilpert leading off for the Hawks. And starting to get a little bit later here in the game, as that one goes behind her, and I believe it hit her in the shoulder blade area.
Yeah, it looks like she's okay. Stinging probably a little bit for Shea Helpert, but it was funny as she tossed the bat around, she didn't realize that the ump was coming around the same direction and almost hit the ump with the bat. He recognized it was a mistake. She apologized immediately. It was just a funny mishap there.
Trainer's going to go check out Hilper right now, as that came pretty high up and hit her just in about, I'd say, the left shoulder blade. And I believe Daniel Ward just lost the handling on that one, as obviously not intentional, especially in a game like this.
Yeah, definitely not intentional. Especially like down 2 runs. You can't afford to give up another base run, especially one as dangerous as Hilbert. But looks like trainer's checked her out, and he's going to be staying in this game.
So that's dangerous player on the first base right now. St. Clair as on the year, Hilbert. Hilbert has 13 stolen bases and hasn't been caught once, and that leads the team. So we could very much well see her steal on this one. That's going to be absolutely jacked to left and almost has the home run distance if it doesn't.
As you pointed out, the Durham Lords are waiting, watching from that left field, so maybe showcasing a little bit of the power they might be seeing later on if Humber's able to pull off this win.
And there goes Hilbert, and throw will not be made. Going to potentially risk losing that ball. But trouble now as Humber's got a runner in scoring position with 0 outs.
I'm assuming if the outfielder wasn't playing as deep, she might have actually tried to pull off that throw.
And this is Reese Valachi. Up the bat, she leads the team in RBIs, so very dangerous situation right here for Juarez and the Saints. Definitely don't want to go down any more runs here as it's starting to get late. Well, they only have 6 outs to work with right now. And now Valachi facing a 3-1 count coming up. And it's outside, going to get behind the catcher, and the runner's going to advance to third. No throw will be made. And it's just starting to get a little bit worse here for Dana. And next is going to be Riley DeVries. Not at all better. And it's going to be a pinch runner here at first to come in for Valachi. And I believe that is number 17. It is Mutia Benedicto. And she has only came in for pinch running situations. She has not had a single at-bat. She stole 1 base so far this season. And it looks like there's going to be a mound visit here.
First-year player as well, so one in store for Humber's future.
I'm not sure if this is the end of the game for her or just to talk things over. And by the looks of it, I think it's going to be the end of the line for Daniel Juarez as she'll come out of this one. Still a really good pitching performance. She only allows 2 runs here in 4 innings of work. And also was their key contributor to get the St. Clair Saints here. And I wonder who they're going to put in now.
It has been a fantastic effort there from Dana Juarez, both today and yesterday. Just this whole weekend has been a great performance by her. Really held down the fort, did as much as he could. However, it is difficult going against the same lineup 2 days in a row after you just threw a complete game shutout with them on Friday. It's always going to be a difficult task, and unfortunately for her, Humber were able to break through in the bottom of the 4th.
And coming in for relief is going to be Kristen Kipper, who's also in the lineup. So listen right here if there's any more changes. And there was a change on first base, from what I heard, I believe. But regardless, excuse me, the umpire still saying some more substitutions. And I believe that's the last one. You hear all of that? Oh, never mind. It's hard to hear from up here. Do you?
I think there might have been a substitution now at second base, as it appears now that number 1,
Chloe Cole.
Chloe Cole, is at second base. First base is number 14, Ada Umrah.
And pitching right now for the Saints, Kristen Kipper on the year, 48 innings pitched, a 3.50 ERA, 140 WHIP, and 47 strikeouts in 48 innings pitched in the regular season. So she's definitely been a solid pitcher for the St. Clair Saints, and they need her here right now as they got runners in the corners with 0 outs. With Riley DeVries up to bat now. And that gets behind the catcher, and no runner would. Excuse me, the runner from first, Benedicto, was going to advance to second, but the runner Hilper were hold at third. But even more dangerous as now 2 runners in scoring position with 0 outs, and double play possibility is likely gone.
Good pitch though. Good pitch. Goes a little inside on the batter. Holds off 1-1 count.
DeVries has 10 RBIs on the year with a .397 average that leads the team. So not what you'd want to face here. Here's the pitch. That's going to be swung on in a high pop-up, shallow right field, but that's going to be out right behind the bullpen. It looks like there's another pitcher warming up, and that's going to be Ashton Fong for St. Clair. She pitched yesterday against the Durham Lords.
Pitched phenomenally well as well.
Only allowing 5 runs against that Lords juggernaut in 7 innings. And here gets the 2-2, has to get away with that one. And now a 3-2 count here. Walking her would not be the worst thing right now, as that would set up double play, but still.
It is very ballsy though, walking someone with no outs to load the bases. You don't exactly have to give her a pitch to swing at, but you still have to be wary of walking DeVries.
Swung on and just tipped, and that hit her right in the ankle area. A very painful foul ball, but she appears to be all right. On deck is Amelia Russo. She'll be next. As we're going through the heart of the lineup right now, still has 0 outs, 3, 4, and 5. Big swing and miss there for the strikeout. Huge strikeout there. And there's the first out of the bottom of the 5th. Good start for Kristen Kiffer. Now she has to face Amelia Russo. She has 12 RBIs and 66 at-bats this year, and that's going to get popped up and go into the parking lot, and cars are safe, just hits a tire. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, that's going to be grounded right in front of the pitcher, but umpire calls it foul. And a quick 0-2 count here.
I do wonder if the umpire didn't call that one foul. Obviously, you'd go to first base, but I wonder if the runner at third checks to go to home.
And just not good enough for the strike. Not sure if some of the St. Clair fans here like that call. But here comes the most important pitch of the game so far, 1-2. Swung on, that's going to be a high fly ball into center field. Runner from third is going to tag, and the center fielder dropped it, and that's going to allow a run to score as the Humber Hawks advance with another run, now 3-0. And unfortunate defense there by the center fielder as she dropped it.
It was a shallow fly ball. It was tough to come in on. It looked like she had a good beat on it, just bobbled at the last possible moment. Because if not, that would have been a bang-bang play. A decent chance of getting the runner out at home. It's unfortunate for her.
And that's not even going to count as an out either. As now Russo's on first. I'm not sure what that is going to be recorded as, an error or whatever, and that's going to get another high fly ball into right center field, and the center fielder is under it, going to catch it and throw into third as the runner's tagging very slowly. Throwing to third is not in time.
Almost got caught sleeping there. It looked like she was jogging to third, almost like she had all the time in the world. I don't know why she wasn't motoring in there.
Almost running like Giancarlo Stanton.
Yes.
And I think there was a bit of a hesitation there at second base as well. But regardless, she is safe. And St. Clair gets a really important second out. And time's called by the batter, who is up to bat, is number 9, Michaela Tuck, number 6 hole hitter. What's even more unfortunate in that third run for Humber for St. Clair is that runner was pulling back, and they were not going to go and try to score on that play if you hadn't dropped the ball. That's going to be a soft ground out to second. Throw to first in time for the final out. And St. Clair limits the damage, only allowing run to come across and score. But Humber now leads 3-0, with St. Clair only having 6 outs as we go into the 6th inning.
Yeah, if you're St. Clair, you can't be too upset at that inning. It's multiple times you had multiple base runners on to only give up 1 run. It's frustrating dropping the fly ball out there, but all in all, it's still very much a possibility that they'll come back. It's only 3-0. You can it's not an insurmountable lead, but they will need to start scoring runs in a hurry, starting off with this next inning.
And once again, it'll be Shade Hansen coming up on the mound to pitch once again. And I believe it's going to be Chloe Cole leading off for the Saints. And now you see the Lords warming up there in the outfield, as their first game is going to be at 2:30. Whether they face Humber or if St. Clair manages to come back, they face them. But regardless, it's going to be a really good matchup, as all these teams are, whenever they face each other, they're all close games, not a 10-0 blowout in 5 innings like the Lords have been doing all year. So whoever wins this game, it'll be a very close and really good game at the gold medal game later today. Chloe Cole leading off for the Saints. She is the number 9 hole hitter for St. Clair. Yeah, she shows bunt, but that is down, but goes behind the catcher.
Yeah, first year player Chloe Cole batting .250 with only 8 at bats though, but bit of speed, so be good for St. Clair if she can get on this inning. 0-2 count though, it'll be difficult.
And every pitch is really important now for St. Clair. Swung on, that's going to be a high foul ball to the right. Almost goes on the street.
With top of the order coming up as well for St. Clair, this is who you want to be.
Big swing and miss there for the strikeout.
It's who you want to be batting with a comeback in order for you to move on in this tournament. Move on to the gold medal game.
Shade Hansen gets her first strikeout of the day. You think we might see Shade Hansen in the gold medal game if Humber does advance?
I'd be curious whether or not she's starting or just coming in relief, but I feel like if you're in the gold medal game and you have the best pitcher in the league, you have to play her. There's no way you do not play her in the gold medal game.
And that's going to go foul just behind. Up to bat is going to be Shaylin Murphy. Back at the top of the order here for the Saints. Here comes the 1-1. That's absolutely swung on really high into right field, and just not able to grab the right fielder, and crashes into the fence, but appears to be okay. Really loud contact off the bat on that one. I thought it was going a little bit further, but right fielder is okay. Possibly shaking up.
Today with St. Clair, though, they haven't been able to get good enough contact. It's been either just ground balls or pop flies. They need to drive that ball into the outfield, drive it into the gaps, and try to get some runners on bases here.
They have not got many hits yet today as well. And that is in the dirt. Make back to even count. And that's going to be smacked into left center field, and that's going to down for a base hit all the way to the warning track. Murphy's going to go for 2 on this one, and stopping there for a 1-out double for her. And great way to get that momentum going for the St. Clair Saints.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about having good contact, that is exactly what it is. Drives it into the outfield, goes for 2. I was wondering even for a second if she could have maybe got 3. It would have been very, very tight at third, but well advised, staying at second, get a double 1 out.
And that's chopped right to the second baseman. They're going to throw to first for the sure out. And there's a second out. However, St. Clair Murphy does move up to third base, 90 feet away from getting on the board and cutting this lead. And she's going to have Ashley Marchand up to bat.
Marchand coming into this as well has 13 RBIs, batting .415.
And that is high fly ball into shallow right field and going to be caught by the right fielder, and the runner is stranded at third. St. Clair not able to try to get on the board here as a donut still remains on the board for them. Great pitching and defense by the Humber Hawks. And we'll go to the bottom of the second, and St. Clair only has 3 more outs to work with now, for they are eliminated, and the Humber Hawks advance to the final.
I mean, eliminated is a strong word. They do receive the the bronze medals of the tournament. Third place is not that bad.
Eliminated from winning the final, of course, and not being able to defend your title since St. Clair were the champions last year.
It's not over yet, though, as it's only a 3-run lead. Very much can still come back. So it's going to be a very important inning of softball coming up now.
And I'm not sure, but we could... Oh, never mind. Not a substitution. It almost looked like Zanaya Jackson was coming to catch for the pitcher, but it'll still remain Ashley Marchand.
She is listed as a catcher as well on the chart. However, maybe Marchand was probably, as she was just batting, she was probably just getting all of her protective gear on in time.
And here we are in the bottom of the 6th inning as St. Clair's going to look to keep the score right where it is. Once again, Kristen Kipfer is going to be on the mound. Ashton Fung's not warming up anymore. River Johnson is going to lead off. She drove in the first 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th for the Humber Hawks and has played a very important role in this game.
I can imagine Ashton Fong is ready and waiting in case they need to bring her in this inning.
And just not able to get it in enough. It'd be 1-1 count. Here comes the 1-1. And too high. Catcher has to reach up fairly high to get that one. I haven't seen many wild pitches today, unlike yesterday. There were a lot of wild pitches for both teams in both of the games that they played. And that's going to go up for a foul ball. And St. Clair has definitely improved their defense today. And here comes the 2-2 count on Johnson. And not enough for the umpire. That's outside for ball 3. And now we're going to see the full count pitch right here. And swung on, but that's going to be tipped just back. Johnson will stay alive, get another chance on this one. Johnson struck out 12 times, 68 at-bats. And swung on that one. That's going to be a high pop-up. Second baseman right under it. And there's the first out at the bottom of the 6th for the St. Clair Saints. And next up for the Humber Hawks is going to be number 11, Marley Greer, batting number 8th hole hitter.
River Johnson really made her work for that pitch, as that's to be grounded to the shortstop. Second out of the inning. Good start here for St. Clair.
1 out away from keeping the lead right where it is. It's going to be the number 9 hole hitter now, Claudia Hansen. And she is the catcher. Here's the First pitch of the at-bat, too far low for ball 1. And just about the same location as the last pitch. And swung on, but that is going to go foul. Kipper looking to get this batter out as soon as possible. Don't want to let the nine-hole hitter on and then have to go through the heart of the lineup with Shea Hilpert on deck right now. And just a little bit too high for the umpire. That's the third ball of the at-bat, and hitter's count right here. Here's the 3-1. Swung on, and that'll make it a full count.
It's a good pitch, bottom outside of the strike zone.
Pretty late swing on that one.
Just had to fight it off, though. Bring it to full count.
Full count with 2 outs right here. And just about the same swing as last time, which goes about to the same location. Once again, a late swing.
It was a tough one to hold off of because it was relatively the same location. I think that would have been slightly outside, though. So it was a good pitch selection.
That swung on. That's going to be caught by the shortstop. I thought that one was going down for a second, but a great catch by the shortstop, Shaylin Murphy. And now we're going to go into the top of the 7th inning where St. Clair will have their last chance to try and advance to the finals against the Lords, and Humber Hawks only 3 outs away, and I imagine we'll see Shade Hansen back out on the mound again.
You'd have to imagine it'd be very ballsy to take her out at this point when you're only 3 outs away from advancing to the final.
So we both predicted it again. Once again, another defensive and pitching performance by both teams, and it looks like there's going to be some subs made for St. Clair. And I heard 2 re-enter, and that's Daniel Juarez. And she'll be in the lineup for this one. A lot of Humber faithful has come out to support their team on this one. And leading off for the St. Clair Saints is going to be number 12, Cameron Coombs, the number 4-hole hitter. Then Daniel Juarez on deck. So do or die for the St. Clair Saints. They still try to defend their title. As here come the first pitch. And the final inning here, unless the St. Clair Saints tie it, is underway. Here's the pitch. Swung on, I miss on that pitch right there.
Good pitch by Shade there.
Got him fishing on that one. That one went way low. And swung on, but that is going to be foul. Caught by the netting on that one. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a miss on that one. Strike 3. Shade Hansen gets her second strikeout of the day.
There's a little Hawk celebration there after the strikeout. I'm sure you see a lot of those if there's 2 more outs in the inning with no runs given up.
Next is going to be the starting pitcher, Daniel Juarez. And she's going to call time real quickly. That's too low. Ball 1. On deck is Reese Grondin. And her last at bat, she grounded out to second. 2-0 count here on Daniel Juarez to start off this at bat. And that one is swung on shallow right field and caught by the right fielder for the second out.
Looked like it was a bit of almost like a check swing there. She didn't fully extend the bat, but if she had of, that might have had enough contact to go out at the yard. So now batting is going to be number 17, Reese Grondin.
And last chance here for the St. Clair Saints if they want to get any last inning magic and try to come back in this game. And here comes the final strike here, 0-2 as everyone gets on their feet. Oh-2, and just grounded foul to the Humber dugout. Here comes the 0-2, and too low for ball one. Grondin stays alive. Final strike here for the Saints. And too high, that goes over the catcher's head. Hanson getting a little laugh out of that one. Possibly lost the handling out of that pitch right there. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, that's going to go too far to the left for a foul ball. Just hits the fence.
It's a good idea, though. I was pointing out earlier how narrow this outfield is. Trying to pull one into the outfield to the left or right side, that would probably be the best way to get a base hit. So,
if that was fair, that would have been at least a double. And just getting a new ball right now. Final strike here for the Saints. And check swing. And not good enough. He's going to point to first. In time. Swung and missed there. And the Humber Hawks have defeated the defending OCAA champions. And they will move on to face the Durham Lords in the gold medal final.
It's a fantastic performance by the Hawks today. Yesterday, facing St. Clair, they lost 3-0. Went back, studied the tape, came back, a new team today to beat them 3-0 themselves. Now moving on to face the Lords here. That game kicking off at 2:30. A fantastic performance by Humber and a great performance all tournament long by St. Clair as well, by all season. Well, these were the both teams were in the top three of the conference the whole year round. Both of them have performed fantastically well this entire weekend. Been phenomenal performance. Great job by both teams.
The defending St. Clair Saints will finish their season with a bronze medal. Still a really good outcome, especially most of their players from the last year championship graduated. So a lot of new players on this team. Absolutely phenomenal job by both teams in this tournament so far, as Humber has knocked out the defending OCAA champions, and they will advance to the OCAA finals. And like John said, face off, first pitch at 2:30 against the Durham Lords. And now everyone's just going to line up for the player of the game for both teams.
As we close out the 2024 OCAA Women's Softball season, let's take a moment to recognize and applaud the graduating seniors for both teams who have played in their final game. Your dedication to college softball has left a great impact, and we wish you all the best in the future.
A lot of players from both teams graduating this year, as we applaud them.
And it's time for our players of the game. Please welcome OCAA Women's Softball convener Caitlin Pitak. the award.
Who's your player of the game for St. Clair?
Honestly, it's tough to say. I'd probably.
Saints number 28, Shea Murphy.
I was about to say I'd probably give it to number 28, Jalen Murphy. Fantastic grab there to end off the inning in the bottom of the sixth, I believe. And yeah, just been phenomenal today.
Jalen Murphy once again, player of the game.
How about yourself? Who's, in your opinion, who's the player of the game
Believe
for
it's
Humber?
Johnson.
River Johnson.
River Johnson driving in 2 of the 3 runs for the Humber Hawks, both in the 4th inning. And it was a big part of the offense today, winning the game here for the Hawks to keep their season alive and their championship hopes alive.
Member of the OCAA Championship All-Star team. From the St. Clair Saints, number 2, Dana Warren.
Unsurprising there.
Wars has been phenomenal all season, both pitching and hitting.
It's a shame that one of these teams had to lose today, but part of the sport.
And now let's give it up for the bronze medalists, the St. Clair Saints.
As the Saints will finish their season off with a bronze medal.
When you hear your name, please make your way forward to collect your bronze medal. Number 1, Chloe Cole.
They get back-to-back seasons with medals.
Dana Warren. Number 4, Jane Foreman. Number 6, Ashley Ray Brill. Number 7, Brooke Cameron. Number 8, Kirsten Kipper. Number 9, Zanaya Jackson. Number 12, Cameron Coons. Number 14, Anna Umera. Number 17, Reese Grondin. Number 18, Judy LaFleur. Number 22, Ireland Tui. Number 24, Molly Casillas. Number 26, Ashley Marchand. Number 28, Shea Murphy. Number 44, Ashton Baum. And St. Clair's coaching staff, assistant coach Mark Ouellette. Assistant coach Alex Wiseman. Assistant coach Dwayne Dawson. Athletic therapist Brandon. And head coach Doug Wiseman. Fans, put your hands together one more time for the St. Clair Saints. OCAA bronze medalist, medaling at UCAA for the 8th consecutive year. Don't go anywhere as we have the gold medal game coming up between the Humber Hawks and Durham Lords at 2:30.
So as you heard there, still a really good season by St. Clair as they get their 8th medal in a row as they continue that streak. And stick around as we're going to ask a couple questions to the player of the game for Humber. And just want to thank you, John Townsend, for joining us today, and we'll see you at the next game at 2:30.
Exactly. It's good. Been great to be here for this great matchup, and I'll look forward to a amazing gold medal match coming up at 2:30.
Thank you very much. See you in an hour. And stick around as we're going to ask a couple questions to River Johnson, the player of the game for Humber. And we're just going to hand it off to Kenzie, who will ask River Johnson a couple of questions.
I thought he said he already turned it on.
We'll leave it on now.
What? I can get her to come back. Do you want me to get her to come back? Do you want me to just get her to come back?
It doesn't matter.
Can we?
And we apologize there for the technical difficulties. We're just have some mic issues, and we're just going to get River Johnson back again, and we'll redo that. So stick around as we now try to go find her again. So because of this game, since the Humber Hawks are victorious 3-0, they will move on to the gold medal game against the Durham Lords here at 2:30. And the St. Clair Saints finished out their season with another bronze medal, their 8th medal in a row. And now we will hand it off to Kenzie as everything is finally working now.
Okay, guys. So we're having technical difficulties the first time around, but we are here with River Johnson. So you played St. Clair earlier in this tournament and you lost 3-0. What'd you guys do differently today to secure the win?
We trusted each other, we believed in each other, and we played for each other, and that makes such a difference when we all do that. So, yeah.
And so you guys played Durham in the finals. How confident are you considering you have to beat them twice to win the gold medal?
They're a good team. They're a great team, actually, but we're good too, and we all believe that we can do it. And we'll see what happens.
And what are you personally going to bring to the table today to help your team?
A lot of energy. When we all bring the energy, there's nothing like it, and it's going to be a really, really fun time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up to you guys.
And thank you, Kenzie. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching this the first game today. The Humber Hawks are victorious 3-0 and move on to the finals against the Durham Lords. And the St. Clair Saints finished their season with a bronze medal. And the gold medal game featuring the Durham Lords and the Humber Hawks will start at 2:30 at first pitch. So we hope to see you then. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching this first game, and we'll see you later.